It was the end of a busy day. The engines had been working hard. They were feeling pleased and proud. Except Henry. He was feeling ill. Thomas asked. Teased Thomas. Hissed Henry. But Emily saw that Henry was leaving a puddle of water behind. She was worried. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. Cried Thomas and Percy. Henry watched the engines puff away. He didn't feel well. Henry muttered. He was leaving water everywhere as he chuffed towards the coaling plant. When Emily saw this, she was more worried than ever. Then, Thomas and Percy overtook Henry. Percy tooted. Henry chuffed miserably. Tease Thomas! By the time Thomas and Percy reached the coaling plant, they had a naughty plan. Said Thomas. Added Percy. The yard manager agreed. Meanwhile, Emily was talking to Sir Topham Hatt. Replied Sir Topham Hatt. By the time Henry reached the coaling plant, Thomas and Percy had already left. Moaned Henry. Said his driver. Henry chuffed and puffed and pulled his long line of freight cars. Encouraged his driver, but it was no use. Henry ground to a halt. Just then, Emily arrived. Moaned Henry. Henry's firemen uncoupled the freight cars. Emily changed tracks and then hooked up to Henry. Wheeshed Henry. Emily and Henry puffed into the docks. Said Sir Topham Hatt. Then he spoke to Henry. Thomas and Percy felt ashamed. Said Thomas. Added Percy. Said Sir Topham Hatt sternly. Whispered Thomas. Soon, Henry was mended and back at work. Said Emily. Emily smiled. Poor Henry.